This video describes how to set up the Work communication with Overleaf. Before starting this video, please make sure that you have set up the following: a Google account and access to your Google Drive, an Overleaf account, and a project that's been set up for the current proposal, a GitHub account, a GitHub personal access token. Follow the instructions provided in the description below to obtain these items if you have not already gotten them. You will also need a freshly downloaded Work tool. If you do not have this Google Sheet, then please refer to the video on Work installation to get it. GitHub serves as a bridge for getting Work files from Google Drive to Overleaf. Setting up the communication between Overleaf and GitHub is a one-time only task for each new Overleaf project. The first thing you want to do is click on Menu, and under the Sync area, click on GitHub. Then you want to click on Create a GitHub repository. I typically leave the default as is. You could click on Public if you wanted to, but when I'm working on proposals, I prefer a private repository. A private repository does not exclude anyone who is working with you on Overleaf from being able to access those files, so you don't have to pick public just to allow collaboration to happen. Now, the person who does this step will be the person whose GitHub account is used to serve as this bridge. That person becomes relevant a little bit later on when we're setting up Work. At this point, you've done all you need to do, and you can just close this window and just click anywhere to get rid of the sidebar. After this activity, we should see a new repository at the top of our GitHub account. Let's see what's inside. What Overleaf did was push all the files as they currently existed at the time of the repository creation into this new GitHub repository. Now that we set up the linkage between Overleaf and GitHub, we now need to set up the linkage between GitHub and Work. Go to your Work spreadsheet that you downloaded earlier, and you will see 5 tabs: ID numbers, general info, personnel and FTE, tasks, and non-labor budget. First thing you want to do is edit the ID numbers tab. There are 3 fields to fill out. Let's start from the bottom. Whatever you type here for the subdirectory name will be the name of the folder that appears on Overleaf as well as GitHub. I like to call it Do Not Manually Edit as a stern reminder that people, myself included, should not be manually editing any files that are down in this directory from Overleaf. Any changes that need to be made should be done through the Work tool on Google Drive, and then you press the button to make new LaTeX files, which then get propagated to Overleaf. That is the direction that allows the syncing to occur without any issue. You can make this folder name be whatever you want it to be, but I just like the reminder to not mess with those files from the Overleaf side of things. The next field is the GitHub owner name. Whoever set up the linkage between Overleaf and GitHub is the name that you want to put here. You want whatever name appears at the very front of the repository that we just created. So in this case, it's P. Markham. And then finally, we need to put in our GitHub repository personal access token. Because of the personal information that is provided on this particular sheet, I recommend hiding this tab after you've filled out the text box. You can hide the tab by clicking on the little arrow to the right, selecting Hide Sheet. If for whatever reason you would need to bring that sheet back, just go to the little hamburger icon and click on ID numbers, and you can retrieve the sheet to re-edit it. But typically, after you fill this sheet out once, you won't have to do it again for this particular proposal. Our communication between Overleaf and Work should now be completely finished. And now all we need to do is set up Work. To learn how to start that process, please go to the next video on setting up the General Information tab.